Even I do not know his face. All I know is his name. Sat. The king of the Gwaris did not have the reputation of an easy-going man. Osroc, the northerner who commanded the mercenary fleet for the Land of Beauty, stood in front of the king, who did nothing to change this reputation. "I can hardly congratulate you," the king shouted. "Yet again you let some oblivious travellers land on the sacred island, and this despite your supposed vigilance." "Usul's island has not been under surveillance for more than 2 moons, the mercenary objected. "Following your orders, Majesty." "I never ordered you to stop patrolling it," the indignant king responded, his face darkening with rage. "I simply asked you to show some discretion. I dare you to say otherwise." Osroc knew, despite his employer's dishonesty, to hold his tongue. The original idea was to let the sacred island fall away into memory. To do this, he had to pull all of their boats away from her coast. A single, lonely frigate passed by each day to ensure that all was in order and to feed the monsters that guarded the accursed place. However, today the frigate's crew had found traces of a secret foray onto the island, and now Osroc was at the mercy of the king's tirade. "Most of them must be dead," the mercenary announced in a tone he hoped was reassuring. "With luck, only one escaped, which would explain why we didn't find their boat. My men didn't venture to the island's center, of course, but I'm willing to bet they would have found several corpses." "You don't understand anything, then. I don't want these people to die," the king responded. Osroc thought about this before responding. Indeed, he didn't understand. "Majesty," he began slowly, "excuse my audacity, but the rats of Farik are not tame animals. They are fierce enough that the Eastians use them on the field of battle, as you know. A simple bite can be fatal if the animal carries the sickness, and several of the creatures we released on the island were pregnant, I am sure of it. And now you're telling me you didn't want them dead?" "No, of course not," the king whispered, truly dismayed. "The rats were only supposed to scare them." "The fate of these foreigners will serve as an example, then," the mercenary replied. "You can count on my men to tell this story to anyone who will listen." The king slowly nodded his head. His anger dissipated, and in its place bitterness, regret, and guilt pooled. He dismissed the commander with a gesture. "Majesty," Osroc stubbornly continued, "why are you so worried? It was just a few foreigners who deliberately transgressed one of the most important taboos in the Land of Beauty. Don't you think they deserved their fate?" "The rats are nothing, Osroc. Maybe it will be better for those who die from the sickness. If they saw Usul and survived, their agony has only just begun. I am crying because I couldn't stop that. I am crying with compassion." The commander finally left the king, shaking his head. The Gwaris were a very strange people. I remember the arenas on Lusan. I had just turned 11, already a responsible man. Smart enough, anyway, to understand that there was no real way for the bastard son of a slave to serve Zuia. One day a messenger brought Zuia's sentence to my mother, at the request of my presumed father. I did nothing to stop him. I already had a deep faith in the goddess, and, as I have said, I was a responsible man. I asked the messenger to bring me to one of the temples. I had only one desire, to be like my father, to become a priest of Zuia, to be among the elite. At the time, I didn't know that I would have to confront death. I hardly worried about the death of others, which was as natural to me then as it is now, but I also had no thought for my own inevitable end, which hovered nearby as if behind a dark veil, or on a horizon too distant for me to see. My stay in the novices' temple was very short. During my time there, I worked with other men of my age, completing the various tasks.